Talking with Sheriff Richard Fuller of Kalamazoo County, running for re-election as the incumbent on the Democratic ticket. Sheriff Fuller, you've been in office now for 4 years. Name some of the significant things that you've been able to accomplish.
Well, some of the things that we've accomplished over the last 4 years is we have an inmate classification system now, unlike any that we've ever had before. We're now able to classify the inmates in a more efficient manner to make sure that the right inmates are going in the right cells, make sure that the problems associated with inmates in cells are going to be lower. And what we've noticed is a decrease in assaults on staff as well as inmate population from inmate to inmate, a lower level of noise throughout the whole department, as well as just things running more efficiently. So that's one of the big things that we've done inside the jail.
One of the things that people look at is to see, how things change over the years. How are the what do you call it? Maybe some of the target areas for law enforcement for Kalamazoo County coming up in the future? What do you see as some of those areas that we're going to have to zero in on?
Well, one thing that we have in our community, a lot of communities have this. In fact, every community has it. It's a problem with meth, and this is something that has continually changed over my entire career. 6 years ago, when I was put in charge of the Sheriff's Office response team as a sergeant for this program, it was one way, meaning that a place to manufacture methamphetamine was bigger than this table. All the way to the point where now today that they're manufacturing it in a bottle about the size of that. So we have to change with that. Other changes that we've had to go with over the last few years are the medicinal marijuana law changes. There are some parts of that need to be fine-tuned, and law enforcement will continually have to be part of that conversation. So we recognize that there are still issues in our community when it comes to different crimes that must be looked at every day.
Budgetary issues for everyone pop up, but Kalamazoo County has been unique in the fact that through some sort of crystal ballish type of attitude, the county, the city of Kalamazoo, and the sheriff's department too, you've been able to not only budget, but you've also turned money back. How do you explain being able to do those things and keep Kalamazoo County, and I should say also, building a jail without having to pass a millage? That's quite a feather in your cap.
Well, thank you. What we did when we were faced with every budget, every year we go through this process, we like to try and forecast out as far as possible. I constantly talk about whatever we do today has to be something that's good over the next 20 years. So when we go through these decisions and these plans that we put together, we are looking down the road as much as possible. And that's why, even though we were given over $1 million cuts in the last couple of years from the County Board of Commissioners, the Sheriff's Office was able to return monies last year. This was by fine-tuning the operations. This was also achieved through some of the negotiations we had from the last contract. Some of the things that are part of the contract had been realized. And so this is a collaborative effort. I as much as I would love to claim all the responsibility for this, or say that this is just us, I have to tell you that the Board of Commissioners, as well as the union that represents the Deputies Association, worked very hard with us to make sure that this was something we could do.
Let's look at that crystal ball again, coming up the next 4 years. What are some of the priorities that you would have for your next administration?
Well, one of the good things for the next 4 years is I already have a plan in place to staff the jail, the upcoming jail that we are building, and it's already been approved by the Board of Commissioners. One of the things we had to do was make sure that they understood fully how we were going to operate this. And so we showed them the staffing plan. We've showed everyone the staffing plan. So good thing is in the next 4 years we already have a plan in place to staff the jail. The next big challenge, though, is something that I've been working on for my entire career at the Sheriff's Office just about, and that is to try and improve road patrol by increasing the numbers of patrol deputies. Our agency has suffered throughout the years of having the same number that we had back in the 1960s of road patrol deputies. Now, fortunately, in the last 4 years, through some of the situations that had been presented to us, we were able to move people from township deputies positions to the general county. So we actually have more general county deputies now than we did when I started 4 years ago as your sheriff. So the good thing is that's a constant change. We constantly look for ways to improve that. We've got some ideas coming up. I'm real excited about this next year because we have the jail already set, already planned, already to go. The next big piece is working more on these road positions that we talk about.
Intergovernmental cooperation came to the forefront. SWAT is now a unified. Does that mean that 911 is not far behind?
Oh, I'd love to tell you that 911 is not far behind. What I can tell you is that 911 is on the plate every day. You know, I heard it mentioned recently a couple different times from my opponent that, you know, I have an open door policy, but when you open the door, he's not there. Well, okay. I'm not there maybe certain times because I'm working on these collaborative efforts. You know, so we do have to go out and be part of the community and not just sit at the office. So when being part of the community means going out and working on these collaborative efforts, I'm going to continue doing that. The dispatch center that we talk about, that is closer now than it's ever been before, and I've heard people say that. So I always get worried that this is something that I don't want to have to keep repeating. But I'm confident. You know, we do have a company on board that's helping us, pretty much acting as the facilitators of helping us move this down the road. The good thing is all the partners are there. You know, in the room with us is the City of Portage. In the room with us is the City of Kalamazoo, the Township of Kalamazoo, and Western Michigan University. So I'm very excited about these things, and it's been a push of mine since the first year of my administration that we get that back up and running, because when I took office, that had stalled, and it was time to take it back up, and so we did that 3 years ago. We brought it to the forefront again.
One final question, and it's always the one that you get to answer. When a voter goes into the booth, why should they pull the lever, so to speak, for Sheriff Richard Fuller?
That's a great question, one I'm happy to answer. I can tell you that there is a vision at the Sheriff's Office like never before. In the past, I think sometimes things just moved along because that's the way things were. And I've heard it many, many times. Well, we do this because we've always done this. That is not a good answer. What I can tell the voters of Kalamazoo County is that this sheriff, who's been there for the last 4 years, working hard for you, working hard for the inmate population, working hard for our staff, is going to continue to work hard for you over the next 4 years. And in the next 4 years, we're going to accomplish things that we've never accomplished before. We've already accomplished the new jail, the renovated jail, and the staffing it needs for that. We're bringing jobs into Kalamazoo County. What I want to continue and what people should understand is that it is a drive of mine to make sure that the men and women of the Sheriff's Office always have the tools necessary to take care of our community and to constantly keep you safe. So again, the citizens of Kalamazoo County can count on me to take care of them, to take care of the staff and the inmate population every day of the week.